So very good morning to all of you. Welcome to Swami Vivekananda Institute of Science and Technology. So we are here to introduce Professor Indrajit Bandyopadhyay, who is the CFO of a renowned organizations and having a background in academics as well. So we are having sir with us to describe some of the, or discuss rather, some of the MCQ questions which are one of your major issues whenever you are facing the examination. So sir will be describing or explaining some of the MCQ questions that has came in the university examination in last few years for your benefit, which subject and which specific topics sir will be discussing. So before getting into that particular topic, I would like to request sir, if you can briefly describe about yourself, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. I am Indrajit Bandyopadhyay, currently working as a Chief Financial Officer of Usha Martin Education and Solutions Limited. So I used to teach. I have a teaching background of around 27 years. Earlier I was associated with Edify brand, and then I have been associated with this Usha Martin group. I am also looking after some of the industrial parts. So I am having the exposure of both academics and industry. So just say that whether you can understand my delivery on the operations management or not. Thank you so much. I think that this session will be helpful for you and you will get support for your forthcoming examination.
Okay.
Thank you once again.
Thank you so much sir for giving your valuable time for us.
I am honored. Today we are discussing the operations management of MBA second semester, the MCQs of different years starting from 2015. So you see the first slide, that is we are discussing about the MCQs of 2015. Just look at the first question. Operations management is applicable. That means you see that means what is the entire gamut of operations management, in which sectors it would be useful. So there are four options. First one is mostly to the service sector. Services exclusively. You know that we are having two sectors, production sector and service sector. Now the service sector is gaining importance. So in both the sectors, production and service, the operations management is applicable and the job of the operations manager will be there in both the sectors. So the D would be the right choice to both manufacturing and service sector. Look at the second slide, second question. An operations manager is not likely to be involved in. That means from the following, which one is not the job of the operations manager? The design of the products and services, that is obviously the job of the operations manager. For the new entry of the commodities of the products or for changing the design of the products, this is the job of the operations manager to frame out the design. So first one is the job. Second one, the quality of products and services. So quality control and quality management, that is also the job of the operations manager. The third one you see, that is the right answer, the identification of customers' needs and wants. This is basically the job of the marketing manager. After using the product, they should take the feedback of the customers, that where there is the uncatered need and wants of the customer, according to their advice, the products will be improved in their design or in other aspects. So the third one is the right choice. The fourth one, work scheduling, that is also the job of the operations manager, because the network analysis and scheduling, that is there amongst the job of the operations manager. Come to the third slide. Productivity can be improved by. Now what is productivity? Productivity is the amount of output received by employing the inputs. So that is the productivity in simple terms. So productivity, how can it be improved? So you see the different options: increasing inputs while holding the output steady. So if I just increase the denominator, the entire ratio will be declining. So there is no question of improving the productivity if we choose the first one. Second one, decreasing outputs. That means we are decreasing the numerator, again reducing the entire ratio. So no question of improving productivity. Third one, increasing inputs and outputs in the same proportion. So if we increase both in the same proportion, the ratio will be constant. So that means the productivity would be constant, no question of improving it. Now see the last option, which is the right answer: decreasing inputs while holding outputs steady. So keeping the output constant, if you can decrease the input, employing limited resource and to get the higher output, this is the only way to improve the productivity. So option D is the right choice of question number 3. Now the next slide, question number 4. Just look at the question. Good layout requires determining material handling requirements, capacity and space requirements, cost of moving between various work areas. Now what is actually the layout? The layout is, it is actually the plant layout. That means how to furnish the machines where the pillars inside the premises will be held, what will be the moving area, so that the entire time for finishing the job will be minimum. The security issues will be rightly handled. So while framing the plant layout, all these things should be considered. So here you see material handling requirement. So this point should be considered for creating a good layout. Capacity and space requirement. Capacity means what? Capacity means the increase in the output, that means increasing the capacity. If the market demand is increased, you have to increase your production. So when you are going to increase the production, you have to increase the capacity. Maybe you have to erect new and newer machines for that. So those provisions should be there in the layout while framing out the layout. So that is also a valid point for a good layout, a prerequisite. Point number 3, cost of moving between various work areas. That means this is one workstation A, that is another workstation B. A single worker may have to move from workstation A to workstation B quite a number of times in a day. So that is, if the workstation A and workstation B is far away, then the working time, moving time will be more. So if the moving time will be more, the effectivity, the productivity of that workforce will be less. So that is the cost. So it will be furnished in such a way, it will be designed in such a way so that the workstation will be closer and the movement time will be less. So cost of moving between the various work areas, that is another point of consideration. So that's why the right option will be D. All these three things we should consider for getting a good planned layout. Next slide, question number 5. For which of the following operations would a fixed position layout be most appropriate? A fixed position layout. There are 4 types of layouts: product layout, process or functional layout, fixed position layout, and cellular layout. So these are the 4 different kinds of layouts. Now you see, normally for building anything, the material should be inserted into the machines. Different raw materials should be inserted into the specific machines to get the output. But there is some special type of production or manufacturing where the equipments, the machines should be brought near to that manufacturing products, like a ship. A ship is large enough, so that means when you have to build a ship, all the machines and equipment should be brought to the close proximity of that ship. That ship cannot be inserted into the machines for its manufacturing. So that is called a fixed position layout. That means where the product which is manufactured, the position of that is fixed, other equipments, machines should be brought into the close proximity of that so that it can be applied effectively. So that is a fixed position layout. Now you look at the 4 options. Assembly of an automobile. Automobile is not so large, it is not a project kind of thing. So it can be, means for preparing the automobile, the machine can be fixed, the raw materials can be inserted into it. TV set, also the same thing. Refining of the crude oil, that is also the same thing. Crude oil should be inserted for getting the refined one. So option C, construction of a ship, that is the right answer in this case. So this is question number 5. Now we are going to number 6. That is, you see, buffer inventory is required as. Now what is buffer inventory? Buffer inventory means sometimes you have to keep some stock for the purpose of contingency. Now what is contingency? Contingency means sometimes although you have chosen the right vendors, but sometimes vendors are also uncertain due to some uncontrollable factors. Vendors means suppliers. That means you are not getting the supply right on time. Sometimes the market demand may be certainly more. So in that case you have to supply your material to the market, otherwise you will lose the market share. So due to the uncertain demand in one side in the market of your product, and on the other side sometimes the supply factor is also uncertain, you may not get the supply in your expected time. So that's why you have to pile up your entire for meeting that kind of uncertainties or contingencies. So here you see point number C, compensation for the uncertainties inherent in supply and demand. Supply of the raw materials and demand for the final goods. In both the sectors there may be uncertainties. Demand may be increased certainly. Supply may not be always very smooth. So for that reason you have to keep some buffer stock or buffer inventory. So that is question number 6, the answer of question number 6. Now come to question number 7. This question refers to selective inventory management. Probably we have learned that there are several processes for prioritizing the stocks: ABC analysis, VED analysis, then FSN analysis. So all those analyses are there. So here this question relates to ABC analysis. So ABC stands for always, better, control in inventory management and activity based costing in cost accountancy. So here ABC refers to always, better, control. Now how to control in a better way? The thing is that in this stock, normally you know that there may be very high value stock. The price is high. Another stock may be of of moderate value, average value, and the other stock may be of low value. That means the price is not very high. I can give you the example. Suppose a large machine. For buying a large machine, a good investment is required. But for buying small nails, there is no investment required because nails are of very low prices. So the stock of nails and the stock of machines should not be taken into account in the same manner. So if the value is very high, you should stock it less, because you have to avoid stacking up your capital somewhere else. And if the the value of the stock is very less, it is low, then you should not be bothered about how much you should stock. You may stock it in a large amount. So here you see the options. Just look at the red one, the last one, where it is saying that the 20% of the high value items that account for around 80% of the total stock value. That means if the price of your entire inventory, if the price of this commodity, this product of your entire inventory is 80%, your total inventory cost is say 100 rupees. So this inventory contains 80 rupees. So it's a high value inventory. So you have to stock it very less. That means the amount should be only 20%. So this is the logic or philosophy of the ABC analysis. So the last one is correct. If the price is very high, if the value of that inventory is high, then stock it less. That is the philosophy. Now question number 8. It's a small mathematical problem relating to inventory management. Here we have to find out the EOQ. EOQ is economic ordered quantity. So what is economic ordered quantity? Economic ordered quantity is the ordered quantity where total inventory cost, which is actually the summation of two different costs, ordering cost CO plus holding cost CH, we can say. So where the total inventory cost is minimum, that means the summation of the ordering cost and holding cost is minimum, that order means that quantity always we have to order. So that is the EOQ. Now see the problem. Consumption per month is 5,000 units, ordering cost given 100, material cost per unit is 30, that will be used later on, and inventory carrying cost 10%. So what is the ordering cost? For providing the order, you have to bear some cost. The cost of giving the advertisement in the way of tender. That should come under the concept of ordering cost. You have to call your vendors number of times for getting the order on time. So that cost of the telephone. Then while your material comes at you at the gate of your warehouse, every time the special person or the expert has to check that whether those materials are okay or not as per your specification or not. So the salary, the money spent on those experts, that should come under the ordering cost. And what is the holding cost? Holding cost is after getting the material, you have to hold it, you have to store it in some proper places, normally the warehouses or the godowns. So all costs related to this godown, the rent of the godown, you may insure the entire material, so the insurance cost, all those should come under the heading of holding cost. So we have to add these two costs to get the total inventory cost. Now, where the total inventory cost is minimum? The answer is that point in the y-axis we are measuring total inventory cost. In the x-axis we are measuring ordered quantity. Now once you increase the ordered quantity, your number of order will be decreased. Suppose your annual consumption is 1000. Your annual consumption is 1000. So if you take it in one order, then the ordering cost you have to bear for one order. But in that case, your holding cost will be very high because throughout the year you have to maintain that 1000 units or the average of the 1000 units. 1000 units is your opening, balance closing is 0. So that means on an average you have to maintain 500 units in that case. So once the ordered quantity is increased, you have to put less number of orders. So there is means ordered quantity. If you increase the ordered quantity, number of orders will be less. So there is a negative relationship between the ordered quantity and ordering cost. But if your ordered quantity is high, your holding cost is also high. So there is a positive relationship between the ordered quantity and the holding cost. Now if I combine these two costs, this will be the shape of the total inventory cost, and we will get the minimum point of the total inventory cost, which actually denotes the the point of intersection between the holding cost and the ordering cost. So from this concept we will get the formula of EOQ as root over 2 into annual consumption. Kindly remember this annual part, 2 into annual consumption into ordering cost divided by holding cost sometimes, which can be expressed in terms of the percentage of the unit price of the material. So here you see 2 into 5000 units, this is the annual consumption. Here it is given a monthly consumption. So annual, to make it the annual, you have to multiply it by 12. So here you see for this problem the EOQ will be 2 into 5000 5,000 is your monthly consumption. So convert it into annual, multiply it by 12 into ordering cost given as rupees 100 and inventory carrying cost. This carry means carrying the burden of the commodity. It is not the transport cost like thing. So carrying cost is exactly equal to the holding cost, what I have mentioned here. So that is 10% of the unit material value. So 10% of unit material value is given as 30. So 10% of 30. So if you calculate the entire thing, then you will get the answer as 2000. So in that way, 2000 is the correct answer, not the other options. So this slide is over. Now question number 9. Which one of the following would normally be considered as one of the cost of quality? Nowadays, we the consumer are quality conscious, highly quality conscious. So the producers has to check the quality, means in every steps of the production, more specifically after getting the output. So different kinds of checking processes are there depending on the nature of the products, nature of the commodities. So the cost involved into the testing, checking of the materials throughout the entire manufacturing process and especially at the end is called the appraisal cost. You just see the other costs. Overhead cost is actually fixed cost, so that is not related to the cost of the quality. Transport cost, you all know the cost involved for transporting the material from here to there. Marketing cost is completely different. It is the promotional cost and others. So appraisal cost is the right answer. This is the cost for quality, means cost for testing and checking the materials, whether it is perfect or any deviation is there. If there is any deviation, then it should be rejected. Now question number 10. A critical path network diagram. The question is from network analysis. Critical path network diagram doesn't. So there are two types of network normally we get. One is CPM, that is critical path method. Through that method we will come out with the total duration of the project and the key activities, the limiting activities which are having zero float. That means if you allow 1 day extra to those activities, those critical or key activities, the entire project will be delayed. So through CPM, critical path method, we can calculate, we can get the information about those. The second one is the probabilistic technique, which is called PART. PART is program evaluation review technique or project evaluation review technique. That is a probabilistic approach. There the duration of each and every particles of the jobs are not stochastic, means not sacrosanct, deterministic. It is probabilistic in nature. Okay, so in any of the cases, means whether it is a problem of CPM or it is a problem of PART, we can identify the particularly important activities because those are the critical activities. We can find out by applying that, calculate the duration of the whole project. Again, we will get that from the entire analysis and we will get the float. Float means if the floats are zero, then those are called the critical activities, and floats having some value, are not critical. So these three things we will get through this network analysis. So what we will not get, that is the calculate of the R value, so that we will not get. So that is the answer here. So this is the end of the MCQs of 2015. Next, for 2016, I'm discussing once again.